Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Cardano, both all three of against Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the US dollar. First, let's look at the Bitcoin chart. Um, out of all three, Cardano against Bitcoin has definitely bled the most um, since the summer, since July, and from the candle wick to where we are now, it's about a 45% drop with the overall drop of close to 60%. Now, in one of my previous videos, I did make note about this support line here. This is a support line where Cardano did come up here and came back down and once more here and then pushed through. Currently right now on the weekly, and this is on the weekly chart by the way, we have made a bounce on that same support line. This is good. And this is kind of, the idea of zooming out, and this is kind of like what I want to show everyone when it's in a situation like this where Bitcoin did decide to retrace. It potentially could retrace more. It's always good and somewhat relieving if you look back. It doesn't seem as bad, but if you bought up here and you're at a 10x long, then that's definitely a different story. However, with Cardano, it looks really good as it has made temporary support at that same line where it was acting as resistance. What could we hope here for? Well, oddly enough, it seemed like it bounced off the 20 week, but I would say that would be like just coincidence. As you can see on the macro scale, it doesn't necessarily act as support or resistance for much. So we'll just get rid of that. Um, because of the recent downturn, Cardano is still on the green for the week, but it's not a very nice looking candle. It really does look like we hit resistance off of this trend line here. It did go over, but same as the wicks did here. So what we're hoping for is at least maintaining this level, even if we decide to dip down, that we make a new bottom. That is the most important thing, making a new bottom. Cardano against Ether is roughly the same thing. Cardano against Ether is a little different because it does seem to tend to oscillate within this with certain targets that we see uh, that it consistently makes throughout the years. Again, it did come back into this lower channel here, like it has done in the past, like here, as well as here. And now it's made support much like against Bitcoin. In that sense, it's quite similar, and we're seeing the same thing. Now, if Bitcoin does decide to kick the bucket, well, yes, we can assume that the Cardano against Bitcoin ratio will deplete. We can then assume, because at the same time Ethereum against Bitcoin would probably drop as well. But we would assume, and I would expect that Cardano will drop harder than Ethereum. So we would see this trend down even more. However, this is why it's not terrible unless you bought up here for some reason. Um, we are not too far from this lower region here, and even with the current outlook, I would say that Cardano is a very good buy if you're buying with Ethereum. With Bitcoin, it's almost the same thing. It's not as good as what you could have gotten here, which is why the next hope is to create a new bottom, a new support line. Whether that's trading on top of this, it is a step up from this. The issue with that being said is that Cardano doesn't really, make upward stepping stones. From what we can see in the overall macro chart, it really has these almost XRP like pumps like this, okay, or like this, um, somewhat like that, and most recently like this. That's not a bad thing. It's just how that's how it trades. So um, if it does make new support here, then that would be quite interesting to witness, because it doesn't necessarily hasn't necessarily done that. Having said that, Cardano only came in at the bull run, that when Bitcoin reached its all-time high. So we don't necessarily know how Cardano reacts during the rise of Bitcoin to its all-time high, prior all-time high, as well as above it. We simply don't know. This could very well be how Cardano will react during that time, where it will boost up, come back down, trade sideways, boost higher, come back down, maybe make this support, right, and start trading sideways, so on and so forth. But essentially with Cardano Ethereum, this it might be a good buy, because if the also the off chance Bitcoin does decide, even though this is where the retracement ends, which in all honesty is pretty decent, like it's not terrible, then we can expect altcoins to start rallying. Ethereum would be one of them, and then I would bet that um, if both Cardano and Ethereum are pumping at the same time, Cardano will then outpace Ethereum without a doubt, because well, I would make the case that Cardano is a more volatile coin, and because of which it has the potential to pump faster and larger than Ethereum on a percentage basis, and therefore this ratio would increase, and then the this is really long term, because we don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin just yet. But then the ultimate target would be up here. Cardano against US dollar is saying a totally different story, I would say, against this Bitcoin or Ethereum. Um, Even during that really large dump against Bitcoin, against Ethereum, Cardano dropped roughly 5 cents and was trading in between around 10 cents. And it held its value very well since like a dip to 2 cents. It held value fairly well. Um, looking at this chart though, we did peak out at about 18 cents. We're currently trading at 13. This is where it gets precarious, because when you look at the Cardano USD chart, risk seems to me higher. Why? Because we're near local tops, and at a time when Bitcoin could potentially drop even lower. So Cardano's US dollar valuation is at risk. However, um, like I said with like my chain link video, when you look at the US dollar, it's going up, but against Bitcoin it's a different story, it's trending down. I would say the same thing with Cardano as well. Yes, I would say buying with fiat might not be a good idea. The risk is too high. However, against Bitcoin, against Ethereum, we are in like, I wouldn't say optimal, but we're near it. We were actually there 2 weeks ago. Like, this would be the best time to buy right there. For people who bought up here, let this be a lesson to you. Zoom out, look at the chart, look at where Cardano on a macro scale tends to make support. Okay, tends to make support. Here, it was this for the longest time. You had the opportunity to buy Cardano, and then you decide to buy up here. That's that's questionable to me. Ethereum, you can look right here. This is the areas where you would buy Cardano with Ethereum, in this channel. because it's shown many a time that it does, at least during bear markets. When it's bull markets, it seems that the oscillation makes it more reactive and less up and down, where it kind of trades a little tighter, so to speak, than say making the play during a bear market and waiting for it to pump up to the very top. So, in conclusion, we ultimately have to wait what Bitcoin will do. However, if you are dollar cost averaging your Cardano positions, like you should, I would recommend considering using Bitcoin or Ethereum, primarily Ethereum, because you'd essentially want to hedge the two together. Um, Basically because of the projects. ETH 2.0 is set to begin its transition December 1st. However, full transition will take considerably longer time, and this is good for Cardano. The longer that ETH 2.0 doesn't complete, the better it is for Cardano, and it gives it all the more reason to buy Cardano. So, if you're looking to make a purchase of Ethereum, with Ethereum, I would say hold, wait, see what Bitcoin does, but we're fairly close. We're not too far. You might have a chance to buy back in here at a 15% discount, at a place where the risk is a lot lower, more likely to bottom out, so to speak. Okay, this is a pretty big channel. It's about a 16-17% channel down. Even if you buy up here, you still got considerable ways down, but it's a lot better than buying above it and watch it have the chance to come down at a 30% correction. And that's how you would find good entry points with Cardano, I would argue. That's essentially what I would say to that. Um, Let me know what you guys think of the video in the comments down below. If you like the video, hit the like button, and if you really like it, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time. Take care.